Hello, hi, this is Phase 101 again, and this is a second tutorial, and this tutorial I will enhance Workbench so that you get some tools with it to make it more, let's say, modern. Without these tools you can still manage, however I prefer to have them. I'm going to install Better Workbench, which is an additional additional tools on on top of Workbench. Basically, you go to this website here, you download Better Workbench. There's this, it's version 4.3. This is the last one. You just download it from here, and basically that's it. You install it like the normal Workbench by inserting each floppy, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you basically. It has some cool tools. If you read, one of them is the Snoop DOS. It's a very good tool. Um, and there are some other things to give you a even better resolution or better improvements on Workbench. So let's start. Press F12, and I'm going to add the first floppy. Hopefully, and I have Better Workbench. Um, we'll insert the first diskette. This one, and let it start. There you go. Comes with install Better Workbench. You just click on it. It will start installing. As you can see, it's copying additional tools to Workbench 3.1. As soon as this finishes, there you go. It's telling me to insert the tools diskette. So I'm going to eject this one and go to the tools one, which is disk number 2. And like last time, I mean, the Amiga is intelligent and it knows that I inserted this second disk, and it will continue doing that. We should also get better icons. The icons are quite nice actually, and the resolution we should also be able to make a better resolution. I mean, you could increase the resolution of Workbench by default, the one that comes, but I didn't do it, and I'm going to do it after I install Better Workbench. And the reason why is it looks better, it feels better, and when you're doing it, you feel that you made a good um, upgrade. Let's put it this way. I think it's going to ask for the disk. There you go. Third one. We just called the bonus disk for some reason. And continue. Some tools that I'm seeing that it's installing, I know them, and I know that they are quite cool to have. As you see, it's also adding, for example, here it's adding data types for things that we didn't have during the Amiga time, like JPEG, PNG, TIFF. As you see, we didn't have them at that time, but now we do. Um, it adds also, it enhances the libraries, as you can see. You will still find software that you will need to um, add additional libraries, but the default ones are very minimal, the ones that come with Workbench. And Better Workbench does improve a lot. Also, it improves on the devices. As you can see, we're getting more devices being installed. You also get monitors and printers installed, which could be useful. I mean, monitors definitely. You get as you can see, the DOS driver, so you basically to be able to read DOS diskettes, which with the way we did it, because I'm installing into a Windows directory, you don't need it, but it has those utilities. As you can see, it's installing also different monitors here, which gives you better resolutions and more printers. Inserting docs now, documentation, which is always important. So the Amiga uses the dot guide. It's a built-in, it's not built-in, it's an extension that Commodore actually wrote, um, so that you can format text so that it can be read in a window. So it is like something like we have with HTML. You put codes into the text and you format it. So this we're talking before HTML and CSS. So this is quite a neat way of displaying guides on the Amiga. Of course, it's only text files. I don't think it can do other, but it's the beginning. I mean, same like HTML. That's how it started. Only text. One of the reasons why I also want to install Better Workbench is that there is software, okay, that will need these type of tools, and it will make your life easier having these. So having a better workbench, as it's called, luckily, it makes your life easier also in regards to having other software. So now it wants the icons. So icons. So this is where it will enhance you'll see it copying a lot of icons. This is where it will enhance Workbench. So even it has icons for the default um, Workbench icons. And in fact, look at preferences and it's replacing most of them. I believe this is the last one and it's the drivers because it makes huge enhancements in terms of drivers. Gives you more options. Drivers. Last disk. It even adds drivers for certain boards. For example, this is for the Blizzard ACA, as you can see, Blizzard board. I mean, some of these things, if you don't have the board, if you don't, I mean, but in emulation, you can emulate all these type of boards by doing settings on the on WinUAE. For example, one of the things that I like is that it adds a proper reboot. So there's a proper reboot command for the Amiga OS. Another thing is it enhances the menu, the Workbench menu, and you can even add things to it, which is quite cool because if you have some preferred tools, you can add them there. There you go. It's basically making sure that all the icons are updated. This is the last step, I believe, and then it's time to reboot and get the new Workbench. After we install Better Workbench. Basically, we have the OS set up properly. So that's when you can really start um, installing programs like this. It becomes much more easier. Here it's asking to enter an to if we want an event handler, and it's saying what it is. It's a patch that speeds up the system by managing environment variables efficiently. This patch will produce a warning message each time you save some of your preferences. You must ignore this message, and despite what it says, all settings will be saved. I just leave it default as it is. No, it's not a big thing. Now you have to remove the hard drive, eject, sorry, not the floppy drive, and reboot. And the reboot is, for those that do not know, on Windows, it is Control left window key, and Control right. That is a reboot. And we should see Workbench, as you see, it already changed the Amiga OS hard drive icon. I always like to remove the backdrop, so like that it's a neater Workbench. Let's increase it. I'm going to make it 1280 by 512, 16 colors. So we should see it. Yeah, we can see that we have more tools now in the preferences. Um, so there should be the icon set, which should tell it to use the glow icons instead of the standard ones. So I went to the icon set here. So after last time when the icons were copying, I didn't show you one thing. When they copied, it shows this screen message. So I basically, after it copied the icons, I rebooted the machine. However, I thought I should show you this option. So the first one is use a screen mode with 16 colors or more and save it. So basically, what I did is I went to preferences, okay, and this is preferences, and then I selected the screen mode. I went for the highest one, 1280 by 512, 16 colors, and I used that one. Okay, that's the first thing. Then activate full palette preferences for a more suitable uh, palette. So if you go to full palette, here it is. I have an icon on an icon, so let's organize it. This is how you organize icons on the Amiga. Do a cleanup, okay, and then tell it to save it. Snapshot all, and it takes a snapshot. So it says full palette. Where is the full palette now? Because it moved it. Trying to figure out where it moved to. Full palette, there it is. Full palette allows you to lock a specific color palette and thus improve the appearance of your workbench. This is highly recommended that you run it if you are using glow icons, which we are. We are running the glow icons, but we want that it will increase. So basically, all these little things that we are adding, they will use memory. And if you recall, we only have 2 megabyte chip RAM, so it's doing it. After we reboot, it will take effect, basically, which it did. Then it's saying remove icon borders by enabling the DOM show I border commodity. So commodities are like startup things that you that when it loads, when it finishes loading, Workbench starts some processes itself, and one of them is called don't show I border. So let's see, don't show I border. That's the one, and you just enable it. Okay. Um, so that's one, and then avoid Workbench damaging icons by enabling the SWAT's info commodity. So there's another one. Let's find it. SWAT's info commodity, and we enable that. Avoid Workbench by yeah, we did that. So those four. But remember, all these twins will increase. So basically, what it's saying is that it will each one of these that we enable, of course, um, it, for example, this one will enable the gauge. It will put a like an icon to show you how much the hard drive is filled. It will always, you know, these are all things that take memory. However, we don't have a problem of memory because actually um, we will increase the memory of on the Amiga. So nowadays it's not an issue. So it's not like on the physical machine you have an issue, yes, because you only have 2 MB chip RAM. But we are using the emulator, so we can add as much memory as we want, or as much as memory as the Amiga can take. Mm, Let's put it this way. And yeah, it's not an issue. Um, that's basically it. I mean, you quit. I'm going to reboot. So this is what happened. So last time you had this. I had this icon, and because I pressed enter, it rebooted automatically. Um, so yeah, I'm going to reboot, and it should start same as we saw before with the icons, and it should remove the borders. You see, it removed the borders, and the workbench didn't remove save the backdrop, but if we tell it to remove it, and then we take a snapshot of it, it should keep it. And from now on, if I reboot again, remember it's control left, window left, and control right. It reboots the Amiga, and hopefully now Workbench will not have a window, and the icons don't have a border neither. So that's one thing. Now what we need to do is make um, the emulator faster. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select a 680 Trio. As you can see, I had done it before, but I'm just showing it to you. It's a 680 Trio, fast as possible. Okay. Um, I enabled an FPU, which is used for mathematical calculations. Um, Chipset I left the same. I tick these because, as I said before, without these it can be an issue. The Amiga will not be using the DMA, will not be at the actual timing that the Amiga had. Advanced chipset I left the same, ROM I left the same, everything is the same except that part. RAM, I have automatic here, so that's why it was giving me the 1G. However, I'm going to increase fast RAM. We make it 1G, and we can increase 32-bit RAM. I'm not going to have slow RAM, and I do not need Z2 fast. It's so we have three, so it's enough. And remember always to save the configuration, and it saves it on the current one. So let's restart the emulator. And we have to, as you see, we have a workbench. As you see, I added the gauge. So here it's telling you how much the hard disk is full, how much my hard disk is full. Um, these are our preferences. You see, it added a lot of other stuff to it. Better Workbench. has got an update from 4.0 to 4.3. We did install and configure 4.0, so now we need to do 4.3. So basically, it's just one disk, so I'm just going to go to the floppy, um, add the uh, the update from my workbench directory, Better Workbench, and I should see the update, which is this one, 40 to 4.3. Okay, I will in, there you go. So it's just an update, so all you need to do is run it. So it's quite a long list of files that it will be updating, but it's nothing major. As you can see, it's done and it requires a reboot. So you just remove the floppy, okay, and we reboot it with the usual control window control, and everything should still be the same. That is all for the update. Nothing changed. Um, you saw that grab IFF is because I added some commodities to my workbench, but it is optional. I mean, these are things that you add whatever you like. I mean, from the commodities. That is all. Thanks. Please put a like to the video and for the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.